Hello, this is Steve with Hydrogen for Health. Today we have the Lourdes Hydrofix machine and we want to do a review for you today. There's been a little bit of buzz on the internet about this machine, so we thought we'd buy one, try it out, and see what this machine is all about. We have the Lourdes Hydrofix. This is the premium edition, so this is the most current model that is available. First thing we want to note that this machine is $2,399.95. So for that money we want to see what it does, how good a hydrogen water it makes, and it's also supposed to be a breathing machine so that you can breathe hydrogen. We're going to test all these things out and see if this machine is exactly what the manufacturer says it is. So first off, a little bit about the machine from the website we got it from. It says it's the most advanced non-electrolyzed hydrogen technology. Highest grade solid polymer electrolyte proton exchange membrane technology. Dissolved hydrogen concentration. It says it gets full saturation, and we know that to be 1.6 ppm. So we're going to test that out and see if it can get the 1.6 ppm. And it has the gas inhalation portion that fits onto the top here so that you can breathe the gas. We're going to test that out. It says it makes 120 milliliters per minute or higher. So we have a scientific calibrated flow meter that we're going to connect to this machine, and we're going to see if it can produce 120 milliliters per minute. The pitcher material is made out of BPA and BHPF free materials, and it says the electrode material is what makes the hydrogen. This is very important. It's top of the line pure grade titanium, and also the pitcher capacity 1.5 liters. The power supply, they said, is 100 to 240 volts, and the output is 8.5 volts at 3.52 amps. So I made a quick calculation. That's 30 watts. So at 30 watts, this machine is supposed to make 120 milliliters a minute. We're going to test that out. First things first, we're going to go ahead and fill the machine with water. We always use distilled water in our tests. That way there's no funny business going on with minerals and that kind of stuff in the water. It's a good baseline. We'll go ahead and fill this up with distilled water. As you can see, our pitcher is empty. We'll go ahead and fill that up. And we're using distilled water. There is a water line here that we need to fill it to. I filled it to that line. We're going to put our diffuser in there. Go ahead and put our cap back on. We've gone ahead and pre-filled the reservoir here. There needs to be some water in the bottom here, so we filled that up. That is already done. And we'll put this on its cradle. Okay, let's go ahead and turn it on. As you can see, it's set for 30 minutes. It's going to go through our 30-minute cycle. And right here, this flashing light here tells you how much ppm is being put into the water. So after 30 minutes, we're going to go ahead and test the water. And I'm going to skip through that to the end so I won't take up 30 minutes of your time. One thing to note is we did fill the reservoir tank here with water, and we let the pitcher sit in here for the required amount of time to hydrate the membrane. And we've been using this machine for the last 3 days. Okay, it's now nearing the end of its cycle. You can see we have less than 1 minute there. I have my test region out. This tests how much hydrogen is present in the water. This H2 blue is internationally recognized as a standard for testing hydrogen water. We're going to use it today. Got my measuring cup here. We'll measure out 6 milliliters. And then we'll put in our test drops. For every 1 drop is 0.1 ppm. As you can see now, it's gone into standby mode. It'll continue to put a little bit of hydrogen in the water to keep the ppm up where it should be. So the manufacturer says This machine will make full saturation at a full 1.6 ppm. On the box it says 1.2 and 1.2 here, so I'm curious why that's different. So we're going to test it now and see what the ppm actually is. Okay, we have our 6 milliliters. Let's go ahead and test it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 0.5 ppm. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll be 1.0 ppm. 11, 12. So this would be the 1.2 ppm that it says on the box. Let's achieve that. 13. 14. 15. 'As you can see now, the water is turned blue. So that means it made just about 1.5 ppm. So not too bad. So it's somewhere in between what the box says and what the manufacturer says it can do. So that is pretty good for hydrogen water. That's what you want to be drinking. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to attach the breathing apparatus. And we're going to take this out to my lab and we're going to hook it up to the scientific flow meter and see how much hydrogen flow there is for breathing. The manufacturer says it will make 120 milliliters per minute. So let's go to the lab. All right, we're out here in the lab and you can see that I have the Hydrofix here. And the Hydrofix is connected to a scientific flow meter. You can see a lot of equipment there, but we're going to focus in on this piece right here. You can see that it's set up for H2 and liters per minute. And we have 3 zeros here. Decimal point here. Everything on the left of the decimal point is 1,000 milliliters. Everything on the right is below that. So we have the first zero here on the right would be 100. If this went to 1, that'd be 100. The next one would be 10. We've got it set up with the output here coming out and going into this dryer. This dries the gas so that the meter can read accurately. If there's moisture in the gas, it'll be inaccurate on the reading. So this takes all the moisture out. So it goes in there, comes out this side, comes up to the meter, through the meter, and out. So first thing we need to do is we need to push all the air that's in the lines and in the filter. We need to push the air out so we have just hydrogen in there. So I'm going to run the Hydrofix for 10 minutes. That way when we check the meter, we'll get an accurate reading. All right, let's run the machine for 10 minutes. Okay, there we go. It's now on and we're going to run it down to 20 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the milliliters per minute. Okay, you can see that it's gone down to 15 minutes, so we let it run for 15 minutes. That should get all the air out of the line. Let's take a look at the flow meter. I'm actually kind of surprised. So you can see the flow meter there, and it shows 0.04. So that would indicate it's making 40 milliliters per minute. You can see it's jumping between 3 and 4 there. So I'm going to say it's between 38 and 42 milliliters per minute. That is way off what the manufacturer says it can do, and very interesting. Just so you can see it again, for the naysayers out there. This is on tight. It's connected here. This is the hose. You can see it going into the dryer. And on the other side, you can see the hose coming out of the dryer and going up to the scientific flow meter. Okay, so now we know that the Hydrofix makes somewhere between 38 and 42 milliliters per minute. You might be asking yourself, why is this important? It's very important because studies show that you need to be able to breathe anywhere between 120 to 240 milliliters per minute to get any kind of benefit from breathing hydrogen gas. Here we have 4 medical studies that talk about why that's important, and these studies are using a certain amount of hydrogen gas, and the outcomes are in the reports. Tywon Hubbard has taken these reports and he's done a great video on how much hydrogen you need to be breathing to get therapeutic results. I'll link this video in our description below, and you can see just here in the video where he's talking about the 120 to 240 milliliters per minute. Also, just to look at the Hydrofix instruction manual, right here it says dissolved hydrogen concentration. We got the 1.2 in the regular edition, the 1.6 in the premium edition. We did measure that at 1.5, so that's very accurate. When we go down here to the hydrogen gas measurement, the Lourdes Hydrofix makes 26 milliliters per minute and higher. The premium edition, which we have, and I showed that at the beginning of the video, makes 120 milliliters per minute or higher. So if it did make 120 milliliters per minute, it'd be right on the bottom threshold of being therapeutic. We just measured it with a scientific instrument, and it shows 38 to 42 milliliters per minute. I'm just wondering why there's such a discrepancy. Alright, so there you have it, the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium Edition. We've gone through a few things today. What are my opinions of the machine? I think it's a great machine for making water. Makes a good quality hydrogen water at a very high level, 1.5 ppm. And the other purpose of this machine as an inhaler, I do not recommend it as an inhaler. It just does not do what it says it's supposed to do. So that concludes this portion of the video. If you want to know some of my opinions on the construction and the actual type of electrolysis that it does, I'm going to go into that right now. But anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for watching the review on the Lourdes Hydrofix. Alright, if you're still watching this video, you're probably curious what I'm going to go over now. I could have made a separate video just on this, but I figured if you've made it this far, you kind of want to know. And what I want to talk about is the technology of the Hydrofix and the technology that's out there for most of these hydrogen water makers, not most of them, the best hydrogen water makers in the world. I want to show you the technology that they use, and I'm going to show you the technology that the Hydrofix uses. There are videos online. A proponent of this machine talks about how you don't want to have electrolyzed water. What is that? What's that mean? No one gives an explanation of what is electrolyzed water. You've heard of electrolysis, and you've heard electrolyzed water. So I think we can all agree that all these machines make hydrogen through electrolysis, because electrolysis basically is the separation of hydrogen and oxygen from water. And how do we do that? How we do that is we apply an electric current across two plates, and that splits the water into hydrogen and oxygen. The plates can look like this. That's a plate. And the technology that the Hydrofix and the premium water electrolysis bottles out there will use the same type of electrolysis. So you have two plates. One will be positive, one will be negative. The negative plate makes hydrogen, positive plate makes oxygen. In between the two plates will be a membrane. This is the membrane. And what it does is it separates the hydrogen and oxygen so that they don't commingle together. So on one side you'll get hydrogen, and on the other side you'll get oxygen. And the membrane keeps the gases from passing back and forth. So here's an assembly like what would be in the bottom of this bottle here. And you can see that this is set up in there. We've got a positive wire and a negative wire. So this is the plate that's against the water. So you'd see that in the bottom of here, you can see that plate. And the plate that's not against the water is on the bottom here. That's going to be your positive plate. So all the oxygen, any byproducts, anything like that, will be on this side of the plate, and most of the premium bottles will exhaust that out a pinhole in the bottom. So exhaust your oxygen, chlorine, ozone byproducts. On the other side, you're left with pure 100% hydrogen. And the hydrogen bubbles up through the water and it disperses into the water. Nanobubbles, those kind of things. Nanobubbles you can't see. It puts hydrogen into our water. In order for that to happen, you have to electrolyze the water. Electrolysis is the means of separating hydrogen and oxygen. The actual application is electrolyzing the water. So in every machine that makes hydrogen and oxygen from water, you have to electrolyze the water. Even in the Hydrofix. So people will use confusing terms to confuse you to make you think something is different than what it is. Now I want to show you how this type of product and the generator that it has is identical to the generator that's in the Hydrofix. If you look closely under here, you can see the positive plate. It's on the bottom, just like I had shown here. It's on the bottom, and it's separated from the water. And then here, down inside of there, you can see a plate that's identical, but that is on the hydrogen side. That's the negative plate. And you can see the two connections right there and there that connect the power to the electrolysis unit. And in between those two plates, you can see that it's more clear. So that is your membrane, and that membrane is what separates the hydrogen and oxygen. You can see here where the positive and negative power connect. And that is on here. There's your positive and negative connection, so it can bring power to the electrolysis unit to electrolyze the water and create hydrogen and oxygen. Now I'm going to get a little bit more technical. The way that you generate hydrogen and oxygen is you can't do it with pure water because water is not very conductive. So you have to do something to the water so that it will split into hydrogen and oxygen. And the technology is today in a PEM style generator, which the Hydrofix is a PEM style generator, along with what's in a lot of the premium bottles. You have a electrode that's made of, the best ones are made of pure titanium, and this is a titanium electrode, and the electrodes in the Hydrofix are also titanium. Now in order for it to split the water, we have to coat the plates with platinum. So the plates are coated with platinum, just like they are in the Lourdes here. They're coated with platinum on both sides. And in between we put the membrane, and in the premium type electrolysis units, you see this one's black. That's because they've applied platinum to this membrane. So platinum has been applied to the plates and the membrane. And with that type of application, you can get more nanobubbles into your water. Nanobubbles are the bubbles that stay in the water for a long time and are most beneficial to you. If you look at the Hydrofix there, you can see my hand through it. That tells me that the membrane that they use is clear membrane, which means that the platinum has not been applied to the membrane. If it was, it'd be black. So that tells me that the style of PEM technology is different in this machine. This is the style of technology you will see in a lot of the older type of technology. It used to be The premium bottles would just use a titanium plate with the platinum coated on it like the Hydrofix is now. And the ppm levels of the water would be much lower. We get the 1.2, 1.0 type. So you can see there that the technologies are different. And this technology they're using, the Hydrofix, is a little bit older technology. Not saying it's not bad, because this machine makes great water. Just showing that there's different types of technology. So my overall opinion of the Hydrofix is, makes good water, but it's way too expensive. This thing's $2,400, and it's not what they say it is. Do I like the machine? I do like this machine. It makes great water. It does not make enough hydrogen for breathing. But I just wanted to kind of clear that up with the electrolysis and the electrolyzing of the water. All the machines electrolyze the water. This machine is no different than any of the other ones. This is Steve. Thanks for watching.